Well, good afternoon, friends and fans. I'm just getting out of bed. Oh, I had a good sleep. See, I never had any sleep last night. I got this bloody Mad Max kept bringing me up all the time, keeping me awake. But I think I've got him sorted. He can't ring me anymore because I've been onto the cops and I've been onto Telecom and they've blocked him, you see. So he can't ring me anymore on his phone unless he buys a new phone and gets a new number or uses someone else's phone, you know, which he probably will do because I've discovered that he's not genuine. He's a cyberbully because he's come onto my website and he's made a comment, but he hasn't. And I always reply to comments. I'm not a yellow belly like he is. I'm not a coward like he is. I always reply to comments. If they're a fan, I reply. And you reply it and he's blocked it. You can't reply to it, you see. He can only speak to me, but I can't speak to him. Because I know, he knows that if I do, he might get found out by the police. But I was going to call the cops off, but I'm not going to. I want to see him in jail. Going to cost him $2,000. And I want him at least 3 months in jail. That'd be good, wouldn't it, eh? Get rid of these buggers. Right, I've got another bugger called Bazza. Bazza somebody. And he's another one ready to go. They're coming on from all around me. See, I think there's a whole gang of them. They play the game, you see. They think they're bloody clever. But they're not. They're thick as they come. This guy, Max, tried to tell me he'd given his heart to Jesus. Well, Jesus wouldn't accept him. Kicked him out. Jesus doesn't accept yellow bellies. He told me, you know what he told me? He said it's in the Bible that Jesus didn't tell anybody he was a Christian. He kept it quiet. He tries to tell everybody he keeps it quiet. Because I told him to make it public. I told him to go down in a town hall, get up on the stage where everybody sees you, and make it public that you're now a Christian. And go and find a church and tell everybody you're a Christian. But he thinks he doesn't have to, because he's a yellow belly, you see. He's a coward. Cowards don't come out in the open. Christians don't do that, okay? So, I know what's wrong with him. It's Satan has got hold of him by the throat. Satan's got hold of him, you see? And he can't get away from Satan. And Satan's got him by the throat because he's a druggie. He has drugs. He told me he makes drugs, so he's a druggie. And Satan's got hold of him. And until he gets released, until he gets someone to pray for him and gets the devil out of his heart, he'll never be a Christian. He'll never be a friend of mine because I don't have friends that have dabble in bloody with Satan, with the devil. No way, I'll keep away from them buggers. So there you are, Mad Max. Go and get a bloody life. Go and get someone to pray for you. You can't pray for yourself. Go and get someone to pray for you. Go to a church. Do what I do. Do what I did. I drove down the road and I saw this Anglican church, you see, and I went in there and I knocked on the door and I said, I want to see a preacher. And the lady said, well, he's round the back washing his car. And I went round the back of the church, and here he is washing his Jag. He had a brand new Jag. And I thought, gee, there's money in this Christian thing. And so I asked to see him, and he took me in his little office. And I said, listen, I've had a mental breakdown. I shot my brother when I was 16 years of age and killed him. And I've had a mental breakdown, and I've given my life to Jesus. And I've changed. I've stopped swearing, stopped going to the pub, stopped doing all the things that I used to do. And my family think I'm mad because I'm talking about Jesus all the time. And he said, listen, Ron, he showed me in the Bible, he went to John 3, and he said, chapter 3 is verse 3 or whatever it is, and he said, showed me how we are born again. We're born of water, and then we're born again as Christians with our spirit when God comes into our heart. And I said, well, why is there so many churches? I said to this guy, you see. He's not a bad bloke. He'd been in the army. And he said, well, Ron, they're all the same. They just got a different presentation. They just tell the story differently. What you've got to do is go around all the churches and find one that we're happy, you know, suit you. So I did. I went around all the churches, and then I got into this church, and this fellow was talking. The preacher was talking directly to me, really. I felt it, and I stayed there for about 10 years. And I'll tell you something about that later on. But right now we're talking about Mad Max. We've got to get rid of Mad Max. Now, I'm sorry, Mad Max, you're going to have to go to jail. We can't have people like you upsetting citizens like myself. I've got a reputation in this town. I'm standing for mayor. They don't know it yet, but I've said I'll stand for mayor. And I don't want to be associated with druggies, you know. You've got to clean your life right up. And don't ever come back to me until you have. Okay? Right. That's you. That's Friday night nibbles. I'm going down to Dars. I always go down to Dars on a Friday night to have nibbles. So I'm going down there to have nibbles. Mad Max, this is the last part of Mad Max. I won't be bringing him up again. He's gone. Okay? I'll be starting on somebody else. Okay? So bye-bye, Mad Max. Nice to meet you. Let me know when you're a Christian and someone can come along with you, your mother or your father or your wife or whatever, and sit down and we'll have a beer together, okay? When you're sensible, when you got rid of the drugs out of your system and you got rid of that bloody Satan that's got hold of your throat, okay? So see you later. Bye-bye.